The stars over Caldera, 7 twinkled peacefully, hiding the tension below. On the Colonies' orbital station, alarms had already begun their silent countdown. Commander Lyra Vance stared at the holomap, her brow tight. The Zarvex fleet, a jagged mass of ships unlike anything human engineers had ever seen, was advancing steadily toward the disputed sector. She had sent warnings weeks ago. The Council had ignored her. The Zarvex had mocked her. "Commander," said her aide, Jalen Rowe, voice tight, "they're moving faster than we expected. They've ignored every warning we sent." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "They think this is a game. They think Earth won't act. They're wrong." In orbit below, mining colonies buzzed with life. Workers obliviously continued their routines, unaware of the deadly shadow approaching them. The Zarvex had already harassed several stations, leaving shattered hulls and panic in their wake. Lyra activated the comms. "Patch me to Earth High Command. Now." Static. Then, finally, a calm, commanding voice. "Commander Vance. We've been monitoring Zarvex movements. Do not engage yet. Let them come." Lyra blinked. "Let them come? They've ignored all warnings. They've started attacking civilian stations." The voice responded evenly. "Exactly. They believe we won't act. That is the point. Prepare the trap. Earth will answer, but on our terms." Her heart skipped a beat. A trap? A human fleet, hidden, waiting for the Zarvex to fall into it? Jalen leaned over her shoulder, voice low. "You think they'll take it? That they'll fall for it?" Lyra's gaze hardened. "They have no choice. Humans are patient, and when we strike it will be the end of them." Outside, the Zarvex fleet approached, their jagged ships casting dark shadows over the colonies. They laughed at Earth. They scoffed at the warnings. They didn't see the web being woven around them. They didn't know Earth was waiting. And by the time they realized, it would be too late. The Zarvex fleet glided through the sector with arrogance. Every ship bristled with weapons, every bridge officer certain of victory. "They ignore the warnings," hissed the Zarvex admiral, Thrixus Vol, his mandibles clicking with disdain. "Earth is weak. They will not interfere. Take the colonies. Crush the humans before they can even react." Below them, the colonies trembled. Automated defense turrets sputtered against the alien advance, unable to match the onslaught. Panic spread as civilians scrambled for emergency shelters, sending frantic SOS messages that crackled across subspace. Unbeknownst to Thrixus, every message was being monitored, every transmission a lure. Hidden in the asteroid belts and shadowed orbital positions, Earth's Titan-class dreadnoughts waited silently. Stealth destroyers flanked the sector's edges. Quantum mines lay dormant, ready to snare any unsuspecting invader. Human engineers had anticipated every possible movement, using Zarvex arrogance against them. Commander Lyra Vance, aboard a cloaked strike frigate, observed the fleet through reinforced optics. "They've taken the bait," she whispered. "Prepare the traps. Once they reach the kill zone, we strike simultaneously." On Earth, High Command monitored from Aegis Station. Lieutenant Commander Jaren Holt tapped a console. "All fleets in position. The ambush grid is fully armed. Awaiting your order." Lyra's eyes hardened. "Patience. Let them think they're winning. Let them think we are still weak. When they believe they are safe, we will close the net." The Zarvex fleet advanced further into the sector, passing asteroid fields that hid human torpedo platforms, through gravitational distortions engineered to slow their maneuvers. Every step forward played perfectly into Earth's plan. And somewhere deep in the shadows, a human dreadnought shifted slightly, its engines humming like a predator stirring. The trap had been set. The Zarvex laughed at the invisible threat. They had no idea Earth had already begun the game. And once the snare snapped, there would be no escape. The Zarvex fleet moved confidently through the sector, unaware that every maneuver had been predicted, every formation anticipated. Thrixus Vol's flagship, Dreadtalon, led the pack, a jagged monstrosity bristling with weapons. The admiral's mandibles clicked in triumph as he surveyed the advancing colonies. "They believe us weak," he hissed. "Soon, we will crush them all." Then the first strike hit. It was subtle at first, a flicker of energy on their sensor feeds. The outermost destroyers of the fleet shuddered as orbital mines detonated in perfect synchrony, tearing holes in their hulls. Panic spread through Zarvex communications, but Thrixus's arrogance delayed action. From the shadows of nearby asteroids, Terran destroyers emerged, firing precision railgun volleys that disabled enemy engines before they could retaliate. Stealth frigates launched ion nets, crippling Zarvex shields and immobilizing ships mid-flight. Commander Lyra Vance, aboard the stealth frigate Shadowfang, coordinated the human strike teams with deadly precision. Target the flankers first. Focus fire on command nodes. Keep the escape corridors sealed. Zarvex forces scrambled, their formation fracturing as human tactical AI predicted every evasive move. Energy beams lanced through space, vaporizing smaller ships. Boarding pods streaked toward crippled vessels, unleashing exo-suit-equipped soldiers and drones that cut through alien hulls with surgical efficiency. Thrixus's eyes widened as he realized the depth of Earth's deception. "All forces, fall back. Regroup at subspace coordinates Gamma 7, he barked. It was too late. Every escape route had been anticipated. Every warp corridor was monitored. Every tactical advantage the Zarvex believed they had was already neutralized. From orbit, Titan-class dreadnoughts rotated slowly, their main cannons charging with destructive intent. The Dreadtalon and its escorts were surrounded on all sides, unable to maneuver. Lyra's voice cut through comms. "Welcome to Earth's snare. You were warned. Now face the consequences." In a coordinated strike, Terran fleets unleashed a hurricane of fire, precision strikes tearing Zarvex ships apart in moments. The flagship shuddered under the bombardment, its shields failing. The snare had closed. The galaxy would soon learn a simple truth. Humanity does not fight blindly. Humanity fights to end threat. And humanity never forgets a warning ignored. The Zarvex fleet was in chaos. Ships drifted aimlessly, engines crippled by ion nets and gravitational distortions. Their formation had dissolved, leaving them vulnerable on all fronts. From the shadows of orbiting asteroids and hidden warp corridors, Terran destroyers and cruisers struck relentlessly. Plasma lances cut through alien hulls, while boarding pods streaked toward crippled ships, releasing squads of humans in exosuits bristling with weapons and drones. Commander Lyra Vance directed the assault from the stealth frigate Shadowfang. "Focus fire on the command vessels. Leave no one in control. The rest will fall in line." On the ground, planet-side Zarvex garrisons scrambled to protect fleeing colonies. Terran orbital cannons, guided by AI precision targeting, struck with near-perfect accuracy. City blocks that had once been strongholds for the invaders were reduced to smoldering ruins. Yet civilians were spared wherever possible, rescued by rapid deployment squads. Thrixus Val's flagship, Dreadtalon, shuddered under simultaneous attacks from multiple Titan-class dreadnoughts. He bellowed through the bridge comms, trying to rally his scattered forces. "They cannot end us. Retreat. Regroup." But it was already too late. Human fleets moved like a predator encircling prey. Every escape route was cut off. Every maneuver predicted. Every act of desperation countered. The snare tightened. Lyra watched the flagship's shields flicker and fail. "Prepare boarding teams. Take their command vessel intact if possible. I want every intelligence module and fleet plan." Exo-suited soldiers descended like shadows onto the Zarvex ships, disabling weapons, cutting power conduits, and systematically neutralizing resistance. AI drones swept through corridors, securing hostages and eliminating threats with efficiency that left no room for error. In orbit, the Titan dreadnoughts fired synchronized barrages, vaporizing stragglers in seconds. The surviving Zarvex vessels were reduced to debris, drifting corpses of a fleet that had thought it would conquer without consequence. For the first time, the Zarvex felt fear. For the first time, the galaxy saw what human patience and strategy could achieve. Earth had not just fought. Earth had hunted, and the snare would not loosen until the lesson was etched across the stars. The last Zarvex ships drifted, crippled and powerless, as Earth's fleets held them in a perfect orbit of fire and steel. Titan-class dreadnoughts rotated like giants, their glowing cores illuminating the wreckage below. The surviving Zarvex huddled in their bridges, panicked and desperate, realizing that every escape route had been sealed. Commander Lyra Vance stepped onto the bridge of Shadowfang, watching the battlefield unfold. Her exo-suit hums vibrated softly as she surveyed the devastation. "Is it over?" asked Lieutenant Jalen Rowe. Lyra's amber visor reflected the shattered remains of the enemy fleet. "Not over," she said calmly. "The lesson is learned. And the message must be sent." Across every frequency in the sector, the Terran High Command broadcast a single, unambiguous message. To any who think to challenge Earth, you were warned. You ignored it. This is what happens to those who cross us. Humanity answers calls for help. Humanity never forgets. And humanity does not forgive lightly. On planets below, colonists stared at the sky, seeing the remains of the ambushed fleet and the descending Terran forces. Relief, awe, and gratitude washed over them. For the first time, they truly understood the power of Earth's protection. The remaining Zarvex survivors fled, broken, humiliated, and forever changed. Their arrogance had met the full precision of human strategy and might. Lyra walked among the rescued colonists, her helmet lifted. Children clung to her legs. Engineers and medics worked tirelessly, restoring power and providing aid. She whispered to herself, "We warned them. And we answered. That is what it means to be human." Above, the Terran fleets reformed, scanning for any remaining threats. The galaxy had witnessed a truth that would echo for centuries. Earth does not negotiate with those who attack its own. Earth does not forgive those who ignore its warnings. And when provoked, Earth becomes the snare that ends its enemies. In the silence after the battle, one fact was clear. The galaxy had learned to fear and respect humanity. And humanity had only begun to show its strength.